It's been deleted. There's
You're opening up two massive plants
it's
because
gone.
of tariffs. You're opening up one in North Carolina, one someplace else, and you're expanding all over. But you're doing a great job. What a lot
Tell his
of
voice when he goes off script. He sounds excited. Yeah, he does.
Great company. It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Don't work from laughing at the laughing.
This has been the most dramatic 40-year turnaround of any country in history in terms of the speed. I really thought it would take us 2 or 3 years to do what we're doing. You know, we're the greatest, the #1 country anywhere in history in the world, anywhere in history for investment coming into the country.
That's pretty good.
It's amazing, and it's because of tariffs, and it's also because of the fact that we had such a tremendous November 5th, and November 5th brought spirit back to our country, came back. You know, one thing I think which is it's so important is, if you remember a year and a half ago, we couldn't get people to enlist in the military, any of them, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, any of them, the Coast Guard, Space Force, other Space Force, we couldn't get them, and even police departments.
Those are the lasers.
With the uniform represented the country, you couldn't get them. And today, we have the single greatest recruitment numbers in the history of our military. The police forces are loaded, law enforcement is loaded up, and everybody wants to be a policeman, a fireman, they want to be in the military, any branch.
What do you guys think?
They couldn't get them. Year and a half ago, nobody could get in the military. Now everybody wants to be in the military. It's an amazing thing that's happened, an amazing turnaround.
Yeah.
And all because we have a president who does something very simple, puts America first, right? So under my leadership, economic growth is exploding. The numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and now, and we're just getting started. You know, the great, big, beautiful bill, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Do we have any seniors? Do we have any seniors in here?
I think there's
One of the makers said he did that because he doesn't want to pay tax on his Social Security. That's what I never thought of. It's a sick people. Despite the fact that we just started just kicking in because we inherited such a horrible situation with all of the high prices and the inflation and everything else. And by the way, the open borders, we get millions and everything you see today, we opened the borders, but we had a 5.4%.
right.
And since the election, the stock market has set 52 all-time highs, adding $9 trillion in value to savings, retirement accounts, and 401ks.
Yep.
So,
Not important.
401k, is, which you got a lot of people. Does anybody have a 401k in the audience?
Nope.
I think that's, yeah. So you're setting records, right? The highest.
I think that's
They say this, you know, the good stock market, they say, well, this stock market, you know, they can't get, they just try so hard. This stock market doesn't affect the middle class. I say it does. What about a 401k? What about all the other things? What about the fact that they're making more salary than they've ever made? Oh, golly, the stock market's the highest. How is John Deere stock doing, right? All-time high.
Let me look. I'm old head right now.
You can ask the question. How do people rich? I just keep working.
John Deere
I
stock.
made a lot of people rich. I made a lot of people rich that I don't even like. I got a lot of people that I don't like at all. I've doubled their net worth. Made a lot of people rich. I made a lot of people rich that I don't even like. I got a lot of people that I don't like at all, and I've doubled their net worth. But after 4 years in which Biden got less than $1 trillion in new investment, think of it. He took in substantially less in 4 years than $1 trillion.
All-time high? That's
We
awesome.
secured commitments for a record-breaking plus 18 trillion. So in 1 year, we did over 18 trillion, and he did less than 1 trillion.
We're half the debt with that, right? The $38 trillion.
Just over 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden, the radical lunatics, we were in dead country. I tell you, 1 year ago, a little more than 1 year ago, we were in dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia told me that you heard me say it. he said it better than anybody else. He said, you know, I can't believe it. A few months ago,
Not to mention restrictions on the tractors. Is that right?
now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Like he said, I can't believe it. And today I'm pleased to announce one more historic investment, the great American company that we just talked about is doing so much. I have to give it really. I buy so much equipment from so many of the people that you know, we have a lot of very successful companies in here, but I know it's a very special deal because John Deere's doing $70 million in factory in North Carolina, brand new, the best in the world, and I think it's going to pay off very, very big. And if it doesn't, I have nothing to do with it. But if it does, I'm going to take full credit. But what it is an excavator factory, as I understand it, and it's going to be the only excavator factory
Like that.
in other words, excavators. We all know I love those excavators. Believe it or not, I know a lot about them. We don't make them here. This is going to be the only excavator entirely made in the United States of America. I love it. And then they'll all come, I hate to tell you, that's crazy coming to. You can have some competition, but you'll be ahead.
Okay.
If congressional Democrats had their way this year, would right now be facing the largest tax hike. So they wanted to give you, this is what I was running against, the largest tax hike in the history of our country. I wanted to give you the largest tax cut in the history of our country.
Well, that's a pretty easy decision, right, guys? Oh, shit.
And if they won, this country would be cratering right now.
Cratering?
So I've cut a record number of job-killing regulations. The reason our job numbers are
How does he know that word?
I've cut hundreds of thousands of federal jobs. Now, if I didn't do that, our numbers would be even more through the roof.
That's not
I can get them. You know what they do? In order to have decent numbers, they hire 1 million people. You hire 1 million people, all of a sudden you're down to 3.5%.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We get rid of that job. We have 10 jobs for every, you have 10 people for every job. And they are all they all got jobs in the private sector making twice as much money as they made from the federal government.
Here's the thing, a sort of
So a
note,
year ago they
I guess,
now they
from a sponsor here in Diamond City, and I'll,
emergency regulations that we're crushing our amazing farmers.
John and Kathy's Super Salon invites you to try out the latest innovations in hairstyles. Look good, make people jealous.
He's still
Some
talking
Betty
about
Hutton,
it.
if you were waiting,
It's been over a
whether
year.
or not, hear it.
Against by our almighty General Kamala.
Guys.
She was the border czar. We had millions of people.
Holy shit.
So I like that, but I will tell you the amazing. We didn't know much about her, and you know when you're running
Guys. That's the chance he gets.
I call Ruby just like we Joe. They're both accurate. And we're running against him. All of a sudden, he's way down in the polls, down by a lot. And all of a sudden, they take him out. They put him in Morris. They don't see the right in. It's like taking a fighter, putting him in. He's getting the hell beat out. You take him out, and you put a new fighter in. I said, that's not fair. But that's what happened to me. The stuff that happened to me can only happen to me. But I repealed the Biden's EPA ridiculous border restrictions to whatever bureaucrats all feel landed on how to be investors. I terminated the so-called diesel exhaust fluid requirement. You know what that is? Saving family farmers more than $1 billion a year, and we're going to do something on tractors. You know, they never took we did it with cars. We took all that nonsense off the cars. You couldn't start your car. You'd have to go to MIT to get somebody to fix your car.
What?
All the crap they had on it in order to save a quarter of a glass. This much little tiny bit of gas. These people are crazy. And I'm going to do that, I think, for tractors too, because we're going to get the tractors back. So you don't have to be a PhD in order to start your tractor. Keep the environment clean. So much good. I think it makes the environment dirty, actually. And very importantly, on day one, I kept my promise to the people of Iowa and abolished the insane electric vehicle mandate, which would have obligated you to go out and buy an electric car, but it would have obliterated the thing called ethanol. Do you like ethanol?
Cars are gay.
Is it big?
Super gay. Big gay.
A lot of people are asking me about ethanol. I don't know. You want me to do something with ethanol? Human tears of the United States getting ripped off by other countries on trade. I'm standing up for the workers and the farmers of our country like no other president has ever. No other president's done
We
this.
still do, yeah.
I mean, no other president.
McCann, this is huge.
Yeah, the ACC presidency. I probably have this little piece of ear back, you know. I would have to listen to lunatics like this someday. I would have to listen to the nurse.
You hear it?
What is good here? Do we love our law enforcement? They work very hard. But under Sleepy Joe, we had the largest trade deficit in world history. But in 1 year, I slashed our gaping trade deficit by a staggering 77%. How about that? How about that? Nobody's ever seen much of that. You know, if you slash your trade deficit by 1%, you're like a genius. They say, oh, he's very electable. He's not so electable. I did 77. I did something else. Favored nations on drugs. We now are paying the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. In other words, matching favored nations. It's called most favored nations. Every other president tried for it. They didn't try very hard. They didn't get anything. I got it done. I got all the nations to agree. You think that was easy? I said, if you don't agree, we're going to put tariffs on you. They said, we agree. We agree. So you want a bill that costs $10, as an example, costs $10 in London, costs $130 in Des Moines. Now it's going to cost $20. We can go from $130 down to it's the biggest price reduction of prescription drugs in history.
Wow.
We're going to be huge impact on you guys. It's public. That's hard to find. And you know the fake news, I can't get on the numbers. Think of it. I got the biggest price reduction in history on drugs, pharmaceuticals. I can't get these guys to talk about it. It was page like 22 in the New York Times. So I just got the biggest. I can't believe it. If a Democrat got a half a point down, this is like hundreds of it, depending on the way you want to calculate it. You can say it's an 80% reduction, or you can say it's 1,000% reduction. You can say whatever you want, but it's the biggest reduction in history by many, many times. It did something because we were subsidizing the entire world. We were paying 10 times in many cases more money than the rest of the world. And I said it wasn't fair. And I got it done. And everyone said, they said, you'll never get other countries to agree. They said, you'll never get the other countries to agree. I got the drug companies, that was not easy, I'm not saying, but that was not so bad. But they even told me, we'll agree to it, but you'll never get the other countries. I said, 100% I will. Why wouldn't I get one? Like home and Rome to France, I said, you got to double the price.
Please do the accent.
No, I do that. I was just through with glasses the other day. What the hell was that all about? But anyway, I got that ball. I don't want to go do it all, sir. Bottom line, I said I'm going to increase tariffs by 25. I'm going to charge you 25% tariff if you don't do it. They said, we will do it. One of you asked, we'd love to do it.
Free watch.
So I got something done that no other president could have gotten done, and no other president. I don't even think they tried you for knowledge. You think Biden was thinking about it? He just was thinking about how to help
Get off the helmet down the phone. Good watch.
Remember, the guy could never find it. There's so many ways you can jump off the front if it really gets. You got stairs all over the place. The guy could never find his way off the stage. This was not a good sign.
Oh, it's another.
But I made new fair trade deals with countries covering half of all U.S. trade.
Another one.
You do know they're paid agitators, but they're paid. They get paid. You know, do you ever see their signs? You know, we used to have protests. I did have guys making a sign in the basement.
Yeah,
These are all paid agitators. That's all they are. They get paid to go and they don't even
Such
know
a pal.
when they interview. Why are you here? I don't know. They have no idea. They're paid insurrectionists, really, in some cases. They're sickos. But I've made new fair trade deals with countries covering
Here's the
half
thing.
of all U.S. trade,
A sort of,
plants in the farmers,
I guess,
ranches, and
from
agricultural
sponsor here
producers like
in Diamond
no
City,
other
and I'll
president has ever done. That's why I got such a
I actually wonder if he's seen
a
my
portion of
stream.
this broadcast has been brought to you by the Mega Surgery Center, now featuring facial
We now allow the
reconstructive surgery.
United States to supply
Why settle for less than
100% of what
perfection?
it will be.
I really wonder.
Here's the it's the weak
Large amounts
spots.
of aviation biofuels from the United States. That's great for you. That was part of the deal that we made. The United Kingdom will import nearly $1 billion of ethanol. That's part of the deal. Australia is allowing American beef into its market for the first time in more than 20 years. Did you know that?
You know what American beef is?
And beef is quite great. And we got to get the prices down a little bit, and they're starting to come down pretty much. China has agreed to purchase over $40 billion of U.S. grown soybeans. You know that. You're selling them.
China's buying all of our beans. I know they've been selling.
And it went to President Xi, and he's up again. I mean, it's $40 billion. The European Union will dramatically increase purchases of American corn, dairy, and soybean oil. They never did that before. That's all those things that they never did before. Because you have a president that's a little bit different from the presidency. And nations from Cambodia to Thailand, to the Philippines and Indonesia, eliminating all trade barriers. Agricultural products, your agricultural products had trade barriers that didn't allow them to be sold in countries that are now saying, oh, we must accept your products.
Oh, wow.
So that's great. It's going to be, you're going to see it starting to kick in now for the farmers. And to further help our farmers recover from, we had really a catastrophe of the Biden years. What a period of years that we had.
What a period of
We had
years.
a country that was just dead. We had a country that was just not respected by anybody.
Everything was gay and
We
retarded.
had a guy who didn't know where the hell he was. Did you think he worried about his farmer at night? No. He just wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah. Remember that?
This is what we had. This is what we had our big election. We recently issued $12 billion in farm relief. We gave them farm because he was screwed.
Oh. It was something stupid. Sorry,
To our great challenges of agriculture, Brooke Rollins. She's doing a great job. I said, Brooke, what's the number? And she said $12 billion. And I wrote a check for $12 billion because we have so much money from the tariffs coming in. So if you couldn't have done that before, we're a rich country now. I hope we win that Supreme Court case. We have people that are China-oriented and people from Italy that are very China-oriented and foreign country-oriented trying to stop that money from getting done one way or the other.
I didn't know about that.
We have to do it a different
Buying
way.
this is stupid.
We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We're doing amazing. Nobody can even believe it. Foreign countries cannot believe what's happening. This is ridiculous.
Nobody can believe it.
No, but I'm also working hard to expand our markets domestically to the campaign. I promise to support E15 all year round. Should I do it, Kaufman? Should I do it? I did. I promised E15 all year round. I get elected. And I want to let you know, we'll start right now. I was going to put out a statement a week ago. I said, hold it.
Expedition.
I'm coming to Iowa to make a speech. I'm not going to put out the truth. I'm not going to. I want to be there in person to tell them, the people of Iowa, to know that I I am trusting Speaker Mike Johnson, who's great.
Isn't it crazy? This guy's almost 80.
Leader John Thune, who's great. That's House and Senate. To find a deal that works, we got it. For farmers, consumers, and refiners, including. China will be sending me a bill very shortly supporting year-round E15 to my desk very quickly, and I will sign it without.
Amazing.
I hope you remember us with the midterms. You know, the worst thing about politics is the fact that no matter what happens, people win the presidency. Even if you're a good president, I think we had the best first year of any president ever made.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like in the last 50 years, they've won it twice. Can you believe it?
Oh, it's very helpful.
Yeah. Terms with the voters. So even if it's a Democrat or Republican, whoever wins the presidency has a hard time in the midterm. If we lose the midterm,
what happens?
you lose so many of the things that we're talking
They're
about.
gonna make-
So many of the assets
they're gonna make a game,
so
yeah.
many of the tax cuts that we're talking about. And it would lead to very bad things. We gotta win the
Yeah.
midterms. I mean, I'm here because I love Iowa, but I'm here because we started the campaign to win the midterms. We gotta win the midterms. That means Senate, that means House. It's crazy. You know, you think it would be like a 50-50 deal or something. It's like, for some reason, and this is Democrat too. Democrat wins the presidency. For some reason, they win some midterms. Now, maybe their own campaign is hard because they have campaign. I don't know, but I campaign hard. We gotta win the midterm. So remember that you gotta get out.
So he's out there.
We're gonna.
Let me check
really
what the
work
probability is
Great
that he
candidates.
runs again.
Yeah, Senate and House. Great candidates. We gotta win. And we candidates that rule with common sense, not this craziness. You know, we're not gonna be supporting transgender for all men.
No.
Men and women.
No.
Open borders.
Transgender forever.
Where's this over? Because you know I take care of things and legislation. I have to very quickly. This open border thing, it's out of work. Taking criminals that they allowed into our country where the jails are opened up. Remember the jails, the prisons are open from all over the world. They're open up the Congo, all over South America, Venezuela. They open up their jails.
That's a
We
lot.
gotta get them out. I mean, it's really, we can never forget when that group of.
It's crazy that there's a bunch of legals in the country. It is. It's a bunch of, yeah.
I would be doing the midterm. That's why we got it.
Yeah.
As we bring trillions of dollars pouring into our country from overseas, we're also making America affordable again. The problem caused totally by the crooked Joe Biden administration. So I inherited this problem. They said, prices are too high. They just took over. They said, I'll never forget. I come here, I'm in 3 days, I have a news conference, 3 days.
I feel like I have to go to one of these.
What about the price of eggs? They went up like 5 times more. I said, I just got here, I didn't know.
I feel like I should use one of these.
So we got things down real quickly. But I was standing there, I'm so happy.
He just says the same things over and over, right?
So nice. And some lunatic right there, actually. What about the price of eggs? Eggs are going up. They said, no, tell me, give me a little bit, because I don't know. I just got here, I'm sorry. But I fixed it. Now I fixed it pretty much all, but it's going to go down even further. But they caused the problem. And then they came up, you know, it's a word that they came up with, affordability. Every time you hear the word, remember they're the ones that caused the problem. And,
I think they both did. I think everybody knows about it. They all do.
This lunch is all about affordability. Well, you're the ones that caused the problem. But nobody knows that. You know, people forget. So there's
They
no
always want to blame each other because they're all fucking this up together.
affordability. They caused a tremendous price increases. It was caused by the worst inflation.
I'm going to speak in Texas. Maybe I should
They
go.
come up with this word affordability.
I can
And so even we although you're not hearing so much of it, you know why? Because the prices are coming down so much. They don't want it to be an election based on lower prices. But we're bringing down the low, I like that term though, it's lower prices, we're bringing them down. But we inherited the highest prices in the history of the country and rapidly brought them down. And that's what we want to do. Did you ever see them or the big interview? This will be an election on affordability. And I say, but they never talk about it. That's all they say. They just say affordability.
It's what does it say? It's exactly like White House 5. White House 5 was exactly it's free old windows. There's cities temperature running. Energy supply is like worse yet. It's what breaks the sun. They
don't talk about what do they mean.
It's like you go to the grocery store.
Look, they're doing a lot of things. You're not into politics that much, although you like it, you like Trump. You're not into politics, but you look at it, go back.
That was Anything Goes by Cole Porter. That was Anything Went.
They almost destroyed our country. They were pricing you out.
Yeah, they did yesterday, so $4. And it was COVID. COVID made everything so expensive.
That was cold. It was saying $1.99 today.
Even like at Wendy's.
Oh, there was $1.
So, there are some rumors out there coming up that I have heard. You know the one about the railroad? A group that actually helps. They help since the one who escaped the institute. Yeah. Well, maybe it's not just I mean, it's further
Your wages are already up. More than $2,000. Think of it. That's a $5,000 swing. Much faster. Wages have gone up much faster. Think of this. This inflation.
it'd be super
It was just the
dangerous.
opposite. Wages in
I
the
think it's
United
way
States
safer
of
to just
America.
sit here and
Remember, the first part of the year, actually, it was the first year. I was seeing the country from the horror show that we inherited. Grocery prices, airfares, hotels, car payments, and rent prices have all come down, and they've come down very fast. And thanks to our tax cuts, millions of
Now
Americans
here's Connie
to
Allen with a
receive
song
record-setting tax refunds, an average of more than $1,000. Think of that, $1,000 compared to last year, $1,000.
Here's Rocket
Just in
69.
what you can say with some of the tax cuts, and that number goes up exponentially over the course of 4 years.
I believe that last year.
It's amazing. It's all the great big beautiful bill.
All right.
You know, one other thing that again, you get this, I thought was so great. I came up with it. You know, very rich people get deductions. Middle income people don't get deductions.
He's right.
I said, why is it that when a rich person buys something, they get a deduction on interest, but when somebody that's working like hell, they don't get it, they want to buy a car? And I said, why can't somebody buying a car in America, only if it's made in America, if it's made in some other country, we have no interest. So I got it approved in the great big beautiful bill. You get a full tax deduction against your income tax. You get a full tax deduction. Think of it, if you purchase a car in America, if you borrow money, the interest that you're paying on that borrowed money is a full deduction for your tax purposes. And that's a tremendous help. And you know what? It's also great for the car companies, because the car companies going to be making a lot more cars. And nobody, they couldn't believe it.
I agree with that also.
It's never be as you take those deductions. But the king of deductions. No, but it was always unfair the way a lot of people got treated. Deduction. One of those will be seeing a big benefit thanks to our tax cuts is Erica.
That's a huge one.
Where's Erica? Erica? Where is Erica?
King of deductions, is that right?
I'm not allowed to say that anymore. If I say a woman is beautiful, that's the end of your political career, you know? She is beautiful. How are you? Congratulations. What a good story. She's the general manager at Whiskey. If I say a woman is beautiful, that's the end of your political career, you know? She is beautiful. How are you? Congratulations. What a good story. She's the general manager at Whiskey River Bar in Ankeny, Iowa. Which, as you know, I visited strongly during the Thanksgiving campaign. And Erica's been able to hire many new employees. The they're each going to be taking home thousands and thousands of dollars extra because of the no tax or tips. And she's got a lot more people wanting to work for her too because of that no tax or tips. That's just one of many. How's that working out, Eric? Good? You want to come up and say a few words? Come on up, Eric. You want to come on up?
Thousands, yeah, exactly.
And while she's coming up, also with us is Judy Waldron from Davenport. Judy works part-time as a bartender, and her husband Chris is an electrician who works hours of overtime each week. Their family is going to save thousands of dollars on no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, which they'll use to prepare for retirement. And I want to thank you, Judy. Where's Judy?
Yeah. How about that?
Come there. Where's Judy? Come on up, Judy. Get up here. Come on up. They're totally unprepared for this, but what the hell?
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. No tax on tips is huge for everyone in the service industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
In the service industry. Thank you very much.
That's it.
It'd be nice to have a
Where's
Minutemen
Judy?
back, wouldn't it? I don't know.
Towers or
You think we might see him again someday?
Hope so. Commonwealth is a lot better off when those guys were.
Especially this fall. Guess only time will tell.
You can. The food is great, but we need defense. We need guards everywhere.
Each week. Their family is going to save thousands of dollars on no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, which they'll use to prepare for retirement. I want to thank you, Judy. Where's Judy?
Yeah.
Where's
How about that?
Judy? Come on up, Judy. Get up here. Come on. They're totally unprepared for this, but what the hell?
Thank you, President Trump. No tax on tips is huge for everyone in the service industry. Thank you very much.
Very much good.
That's it.
I would just like to say that in the service industry.
Where's Judy? On no tax on overtime which I used to prepare for retirement. I want to thank you, Junior. Where's Judy? Yeah. Where's Judy? Come on out, Judy, now. Come on out. They're totally unprepared for this, but what? Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. No tax on tips is huge for everyone in the service industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're great. Thank you. That's it.
I would just like to say the same thing. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. You used to say they're beautiful, I refuse. But they're beautiful. Do all people look like that in Iowa? I don't think so. Thank you, Bob. Congratulations. That's great. We're not supposed to come up. But I looked at both of them and I said, get up here. We're also pleased to be joined by Governor Kim Reynolds. Kim, thank you.
I love him. I love President Trump,
We're not
man.
supposed to come up. But I looked at both of them and I said, get up here. We're also pleased to be joined by Governor Kim Reynolds. Kim, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Great.
And
The
that
man
was
who's
Minka
become
Powell
a
there.
real star,
Well, I mean, I
Treasury
guess
Secretary
Ashley Murphy.
Scott Bessent.
Never mind.
Yeah, you got 3 more years on this stuff. 3 more years. He's done a real job. He knows his business. And he's
Here's the thing. A sort of note, I
Small
guess,
business
from
administrator,
sponsor
another real
here
star,
in
Kelly.
Diamond City, and I'll
Thank you, Kelly.
read it. Fallon's Basement, providing top-of-the-line fashion to Diamond City for over 10 generations. So, Magnolia, you know, from Good Neighbor, she was nice enough to let us play some of her songs. There's not a lot of people whose songs they play who are still alive, so a lot of pressure!
I want to tell you that they're all great and they're all should be in good shape, and you got to get out of the front. You got to get out in front. Iowa Attorney General Rutherford. Where's that? Boy, she was early to endorse me. So early. We appreciate. We'll never forget that. That was great. Thanks a lot, brother. And you're doing well. I hear you're doing great. Okay? Thank you. Surely. She's running. She's gonna talk to her. State House Majority Leader Bobby Kaufman. Bobby. We got it. We got Thank you, Bobby. Exactly. Former Senate, State Senate President, leader now, that's the name of this guy. He endorsed me, the first person in the entire United States of America. It was a year before I even knew I was running the endorsement. He endorsed me because he thought I would be good. I wasn't even thinking about running. He was so early. He was the first person in the United States, before my wife, before my kids. State Senate President, he's a Marlboro man. He looks like a Brad Zahn. Where's Brad? Where are you, Brad? Yeah. Come on up here. Get up here, Brad. Oh, my God. And state representatives, Heather Hora, Derek Wolf, Brooke Hook, and many of the wonderful members of the Iowa State House. I want to thank you all for being here. Brad, you got to say, look at this guy. Can you talk? Oh boy, here we go. He's on something today? Yeah, he is. Look him up. It's an honor to be here. And you know, my wife is a Fox News junkie, and she loves Lori. I bet she does. And I tell her, I said, enjoy every second, because you are the GOAT. Promises made, promises kept. Second, because you are the GOAT. Promises made, promises kept. do whatever I want.
And he just calls people
He
up.
was so early. I said, who the hell is that guy in Iowa that keeps endorsing? Thank you, Brad. Don't forget. The Trump administration has done more in 12 months than most administrations achieved in 4 years or 8 years within a lot. I've recently introduced my plan to repair the damage administrations achieved in 4 years or 8 years within a lot. I've recently introduced my plan to repair the damage of the Unaffordable Care Act, the worst disaster, which now costs many families more than
Everyone had to pay for insurance. That was crazy.
Came out bigger cost than a mortgage, and it's bad health care. Obamacare was created to make insurance companies rich with government subsidies. I want all that money that gets paid to the insurance companies to get paid directly to the people. That's all I want.
So dumb.
So that you can buy better health care at a lower cost. The problem is the Democrats don't want to do that because they are owned by the insurance companies. So they say, oh, we don't want to do that. I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care. You'll buy much better health care. You have a lot of money.
I believe that.
And I'm also making it a lot easier to buy a thing called the House. The American people. Last week I signed an executive order to ban Wall Street and large institutional investors from buying up all the single-family homes in America.
Yes, this is a big one right here.
Because we don't want America to become a nation of renters, and that's what they forced happen. I mean, you have these companies that own 5,000 houses, 20,000. One has hundreds of thousands of houses. We don't want that. We want people to be able to buy houses. At the same time, I want to keep the value of the house very high of those people who already own a house. We're not forgetting about
He's still smiling.
because they don't necessarily match those.
He's so happy.
You know, we get the prices down. Well, what does that do? Very important to me, more important to me, is, you know, people have become rich by owning their home. We're going to keep them nice and rich. Is that okay? You know, nobody, I'll bet you've never heard that before, right?
It's a lot of people that are
People own a home, and for the first time, their homeowners said, we're not going to bring their price down. I want to say, let them be rich. So we're strengthening Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that you've heard about, and in the last 12 months, those institutions have supported over 22,000 Iowa families in purchasing or refinancing, and saved over 3,000 Iowa families
He
from
loves
losing their
campaigning.
homes.
He does.
We've come out and really helped a lot of people keep your home. And despite a bad Fed chairman, a guy that has no, we call him too late. He's too late. Jerome too late, Powell. He's too late.
Too late for what?
It wasn't too late before the Democrats won the election, then it was too early. But he wants to keep rates as high as possible, despite that.
Maybe houses expensive, but they can cheaper.
When you're really good, you can get them down
Makes sense.
despite everything, because
Yeah, it is.
ultimately, it just sort of follows nature. Mortgage interest rates are now at the lowest level in 3 years, and new mortgage applications are up 30%. By the way, well, we have a great Fed chairman. I think we're going to have one. I'll announce it.
I don't know if that's true. That's a
And you'll
lot.
see rates come down. And refinancings are up 100% compared to the end of the Biden term. Up 100%. We're also working tirelessly to bring back a thing called law and order. You know, there was a time. There was a time that you weren't allowed to use the words law and order.
Okay.
I like that guy. You weren't allowed to use the term law and order. You weren't allowed to use the term Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, right? Remember that 2016 I ran one? We're going to bring back Christmas. We did. Now they're afraid to suggest it, but we brought that back. But law and order, we need law and order. And we have the lowest crime rate now in the history of our country. That's
Wow.
That's and it's totally and completely closed the southern border with little fanfare, but tremendous success. The southern border is closed, nobody's coming in. My goodness, that's right. Nobody is able to come into a country except for those that come in legally. We want to have people come in legally. We need people to come in legally, but they have to show that they can love our country, not hate our country. Shopping centers, blow up our farms, kill people. They're coming in legally, but they cannot come in unless they come in legally into our country, and we're letting the great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country, that be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar. Did you see what? Did you see that wise guy? You know, she's always from my street with the following. You know, the Constitution, she comes from a country that's a disaster. It's probably, it's considered, I think, it's not even a country. Okay? It barely has a color. I don't think it does.
That's crazy.
You know one thing, pirates. But they don't do that anymore. You know why?
Alright.
They get the same treatment from us as the drug dealers get.
Yeah, what happened?
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Well, so one thing, pirates. But they don't do that anymore. You know why? Because they get the same treatment from us as the drug dealers get.
Yeah, what happened?
Boom, boom. Don't you know what ship they're attacking? When they attack, when we send them going in, it's the end. It's amazing. You know, I don't know if you know, troops coming in by water is down 97%. And we're trying to find out who the other 3% is because we consider them the bravest people in the world.
Yeah, we're gonna let them.
Who the hell is the 3%? But it's down 97%.
Trump just
And now
called
we
it a
take that
fucking
down.
one-brainer
The
trade.
sea is much easier than the sea. You gotta do the sea first.
Kind of based, honestly.
We haven't exactly helped the
Yeah, kind of based.
fishing business, have we?
So that
You like
that
to go fishing? Not that good, but let's go deep sea fishing today. Go ahead, let's go deep sea fishing. Sorry about that. But it was down 97%. We've done a job. I'll tell you, we made our country respected again.
So there are some rumors out there in the Commonwealth that I have heard. You know the one about the railroad, a group that actually helps since
So
one
you
of
read
escaped.
much about
Yeah.
Minnesota where,
Well,
unbeknownst to the public, we have brought down crime very substantially in Minnesota. They got thousands of hard criminals, hard, vicious, horrible criminals.
It's kind of crazy.
You don't read about
If you ask me. And if it were real,
things like Washington, D.C., where
super dangerous.
there's virtually no crime.
I think
There
it's
was
way
horrible
safer.
a year and a half.
They just got rid of it.
Tennessee, which was a real disaster, and now it's down.
What's the
It's dropped by 78% in the last 2 months. New Orleans, Louisiana, was passed by the governor of Louisiana to help them with New Orleans. It was a disaster. Crime is down 54% in about 3 weeks. You don't read about that.
Roy Brown is back.
And we've done all of this by taking thousands of criminals out of these states. We took over 2,000 people out of Washington, D.C. These were criminals.
Holding criminals makes the crime go down.
About 2% of the population.
No way.
Very simple business. 2% of the population causes 90% of the crime. So when you start decimating that 2%, boom, that's why we have to grow. But it's an amazing number when you think. You know, just crime over and over and over. 2% creates 90% of the crime. Isn't that amazing? Not that complicated, is it? In 1 year, we've achieved the largest drop in the murder rate in the history of our country. Drug overdose deaths are down by 21%, the largest drop ever recorded. We've got to do better than that. I have designated the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Big deal. Despite the strong efforts of the fake news media, we are starting to see historic success reflected in tremendous polls. We have great polls. In last week's Rasmussen poll, we're leading among Hispanic voters. We're leading by a lot. Nobody's ever seen a Republican lead among Hispanic voters.
I don't know what to say.
Hispanic voters don't want crime. People don't realize that. Hispanic voters want a strong voter. Because they know what's coming in and they don't want them. They're great. They've been great. We did so great in the election with Hispanic voters. We did so great with black men. We did so great with white everything. In yesterday's RMG poll, a clear majority of Americans support our deportation policies by a margin of 10%.
Wow.
I don't know what 10% is. I don't
I missed this. This is crazy.
When you say like 100%, who Who the hell would be against? Maybe somebody that hates our country. In a recent Harvard-Harris poll found that 80% of Americans support our unprecedented operation to deport criminal aliens. In other words, 80%, that's more like it, of the people support our operation to
All white everything.
remove
That's
really
right.
dangerous, bad people.
White everything. That's going on Twitter for sure.
And in a Reuters poll that just came out, Republicans are leading on the economy by a lot, and leading on immigration by a lot, and the crime, they're leading by a real lot, by almost 20 points. And in real clear politics average net approval, the Republican Party is more than 10 points more popular than Democrats. And I don't even understand that. How can you, 10 points is considered a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, how is it 10 points when we've done all these things? They've done
That's just all right, Terrence.
They
Yeah.
would destroy. I'm telling you, if Kamala won,
Yeah.
or any of them, I think Gavin Newsom is worse because, I mean, he's destroyed California.
It's on
If
fire,
they
literally,
won,
like every
if
year.
they win, that group, that ideology wins,
Yeah.
you will be Venezuela on steroids. And I've said it for years. And you know
Not
it.
good.
They will destroy our country. The country has been destroyed already. We're fully rebuilding the U.S. military with more than $1 trillion we're spending on the military.
Yeah, it's not on Iran.
And in June, we obliterated Iran's nuclear capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer. You saw that. People have been waiting for 22 years to do that, and we were right at the end. They were about a month away from having a nuclear weapon. We had to do it. And yes, and by the way, there's another beautiful armada, floating beautifully over the land right now.
Your resume is getting rejected. Here's why. Iron software like that in tracking systems scans resumes first. If the format is complex or the wording isn't clear, the system may skip over. But that doesn't mean you can start over from scratch. You just need something to help structure your resume in a way that the system can understand, like resume.
It's all right. Time.
I hope they make a deal. I hope they make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time to have a country. And just weeks ago, in a spectacular operation in Venezuela, we brought the outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to face America.
No way he does it. No way.
In one of the most
No way.
lethal,
Five.
quick, they've never seen violent operations, ever seen military operations, ever seen. Nobody was killed. Not on this side. Unfortunately, I have to say a lot. We went into a very big, powerful military base with a group of unbelievable, talented, patriotic people that love our country. We couldn't hold them back. You know, the weather was off for 3 nights.
Wait a minute.
So I
Hold on.
delayed.
Wait.
I delayed it. Well, the next night it was okay, but not great. I said, General, listen, sir, they're ready to go. Sir, they're okay. I said, but the weather's a little bad. They said, sir, they're ready to go. I said, God bless you, General. And boy, did they do a job.
They did. They caught his ass. They nabbed him.
Joe Biden and his allies, in conclusion, in Congress did everything they could to destroy our country. But
4 for 5 is pretty
and
good.
today, after just 1 year since my second inauguration, you know, we have
Yeah.
well, America is back.
Back
Our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is stopped. Incomes are up. Prices are down.
the
Our
2%.
economy is roaring. Our workers are
Wow.
thriving. And our country is winning again, winning like never before. We've never had a period of time like this. We've never had a period of time.
That's insane.
I just left a great group of people from Iowa, and half of them were crying as they
I told
talked to
y'all.
me. I don't think they're crying because I'm doing a
I
bad
told
job.
y'all that shit was gonna happen.
If you do a bad, they were crying because I've done a good job. Sir, they said, sir, you brought our country back. Crying. One woman was fantastic. She grabbed me and she put her head right there, and her tears are pouring over my beautiful suit. I figured I got it. And I checked it out, and there was a lot of makeup all over. I said, what the hell am I going to do? I get myself in trouble. No, but she was crying, and I said, "Don't cry. Be happy. Be happy." With the help of the incredible people of Iowa, we're preparing 4 long years of disaster and decline, and we're beginning what will be known as the greatest years in the history of our country. I believe that, Joe. We are entering a period that will be called the golden age of America. That's what's happening.
No way he doesn't close.
So together, with all of you, and you were with me from the beginning, all 3 times we went by line. I don't know if you remember, but before I got voted to being a Democrat state, you know that, I don't want to bring it up. And then I came along, and it wasn't a Democrat very long. And our great chairman,
Yeah, I'm
such a
really
good
feeling
job.
it, man.
Boy, oh boy, you can do anything. I've offered him come to Washington. Come to Washington, take any position. But he likes that. He just doesn't want to leave. I think he just wants to stay at home. I don't blame him.
Oh,
But you are.
it's a B.
But we won.
Man, that's
All
fine.
3 times by a lot. But this used to, until we came along, this used to be a Democrat state, and we turned
You
it.
just heard
Barack Hussein
Fallout
Obama.
through the fallout.
He won both times, and even he won twice. You know, Barack Hussein Obama, wonderful president, really brought people together, didn't he?
So there are some rumors out there in the
Twice,
Commonwealth
you know,
that I have heard.
said, well,
You know
they
the
had
one
this
about
down
the
as
railroad,
unwinnable.
a group
And
that,
we won it
that
all
actually
twice.
helped
Yeah,
they helped
you won it
since
all.
want to escape the institute? Yeah. Well, maybe it's not just.
Together with all of you,
I mean, as far as I know,
citizens
of
from
course, but
all across this
I mean,
incredible,
they
beautiful
actually
land,
out there.
we will make
It
America
sounds kind of
powerful
crazy,
again. Oh, we've done it.
if you ask
We
me.
will make America
And
wealthy
if it were real,
again. We will make
it'd be
America
super dangerous. I
healthy
mean,
again. That's happening.
I think it's way
We will
safer
make
just
America
6 years
strong
away.
again. We will make America proud again. We will make
Why
America safe
do
again.
these objects
Most
keep
importantly,
moving?
we will make America great again. And
I forget.
Oh my God.
There's music.
Well, some people
you know
might
someone who
wonder,
gambles?
how is it
Then
that
maybe
you
this
were
will
able
make you
to
laugh.
predict what he's gonna
Or
say? It's because I had to listen to my fucking dad ramble on about bullshit for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and more hours and for more time. And if you spend like years listening to an old man meandering around discussing something that he said 50 times before, and now he's saying it again, and you try to interrupt him, and you tell him, I know this story, and then he's like, oh, fuck, you interrupted me, now I have to tell the story back from the beginning again. If you've had this happen for the last fucking 30 years, you start to notice a pattern.
Your dad was right.
And I never said this while he was alive because he fucking hated Trump. But the way that my dad would talk and the way that Trump would talk, just like their cadence, their demeanor, and the way, just like the kind of way they would just weave around and just say random things. Exactly what he said. It is. I would say this was a good speech. I think this was definitely him saying the 2% of people commit 90% of the crimes. Like that really, like I don't even know what to say.
Our nation's best are drinking their blood, sweat, and tears in the law. Sweating better than all of us. What you say? It's a new day.
As much of the country feels the impacts of that winter storm, President Trump continues to monitor the situation closely, and he has remained in constant contact with FEMA and emergency responders. President Trump also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours for the states of Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, enabling these states to access critical federal resources to supplement their response efforts if needed.